We move on to the last anime of the evening, which is Jobless Reincarnation, Season 3, Episode 2. The intro is some girls and Nina talking about dudes. And the girls are like, Nina, you like anyone? What about Gino? And Nina's like, nah, man, I'm married to the blade. You know what I mean? And the girls are like, yeah, I guess you're right. If you're going to be Eris.
Oh, man. I'm married to the blade and the blade needs me.
But then Eris walks by and Nina's like, hey, yo, bet you can't get a man, bitch. And Eris is like, nah, man, I be banging. And the girls are like, oh shit, who you banging? And she's like, Rudius Grey Rat, duh. And he even hit Orsted. And Nina is like, nah, that can't be true. And Eris is like, Rudy is a true master. I gotta get stronger. And Nina is like, nah, man, Rudis is your imaginary friend. But Nina goes around town asking if anyone knows a Rudius Grey Rat. And everyone is like, fuck yeah, that guy's a fucking baller. And then she hires a private investigator and he's like, yeah, man, easiest job of my fucking life. That dude is fucking famous. Nina is disappointed that Rudy exists, but she's like, nah, he's probably still a piece of shit. And she's like, I have an idea. I'm going to go find Rudy and enslave him and show Eris that she's a bitch. Nina gets to the mage school and finds Rudy and is like, nah, this guy's a chump. And she's like, hey, I want to challenge this dude. And everyone was like, yeah, so does everyone else. Get to the back of the fucking line. But then 4-armed demon dude, Body Gotti, rolls up and is like, hey, can I just cut to the front? And they're like, only if you fight all of us. And he's like, fuck yeah. And then Nina tries her hand too and gets wrecked, but then gets up and sees Rudis defeat Body Gotti and is like, damn, Eris is trying to get that shit. Nina returns to the dojo and Eris is still practicing, and Nina decides to join her, and they both practice in silence. But it cuts to Gaul meeting with the water god, and she's like, who you want me to teach? And Eris walks in, and they're like, oh shit, and sense her murderous aura.
I don't understand this, by the way. They say the water god in reference to spells or to water style.
Yeah, the water style, because
there's
Gaul
a sword god.
Gaul is sword
I assumed
god.
was like the umbrella.
Because what are the three styles again? You have North God, you have water, and then
sword god, I guess.
So you have sword god style, North God style, and water god style. So they're all just different styles. So Gal's sword god, and then this lady is water god style, god, and then Auber is North God style, god level.
Yes, so they are the leaders of their respective styles.
Yes.
And, okay, so characteristics, real quick. The motto of the sword god style is victory goes to he who moves first. This style of swordsmanship emphasizes speed and aggression, focusing on striking down the opponent first. As a result, many practitioners become short-tempered and belligerent. To react swiftly, practitioners are discouraged from wearing heavy armor, are encouraged to wear light clothing for maximum mobility. Ghislaine, chill. Because of the philosophy is to defeat an enemy with a single blow, the style usually leaves the users inept at defense with no counterattacks. Consequently, sword god style practitioners have difficulty fighting water god style practitioners who are adept at defense and counterattacks. Conversely, sword god styles can overwhelm North god styles because North god styles practitioners mostly rely on the environment to fight.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. That's all it is.
Sure. Whatever, dude.
Nina and Eris seem to have a new relationship now, and Eris has slightly better manners, but Rada, which is the water god style old lady, is like, damn, that girl wild. She can't learn any water god shit. And Gal is like, no teaching necessary. You just need to fight her. Rada is like, man, what is she trying to do? And he's like, oh, just casually kill Orsted. And she's like, holy shit, you think she can do it? And he's like, yup. And she's like, well, she's got to fight my apprentice first.
What if a character becomes the god of all style?
You're the dragon god.
No, the dragon god has He has proficiency in specific style as well. That is actually written.
Which is literally everything. He's the Mortal Kombat guy that can use all of the other characters' abilities. Isolde introduces herself to Eris and they spar, and Eris blade of lights, but Isolde parries and counters, and now it's Nina's turn, and then Nina one-shots Isolde with her speed. Gal and Rada decide they'll just train like normal, and the girls will spar each other in the evenings. Eris is still struggling to fight Isolde, and Nina is like, well, I win against you, you win against Eris, and Eris wins against me. And Isolde is like, well, why don't we just try talking it out? So they go to Nina's room, and Isolde says Eris has too much animosity, and the water god Style can sense it. And Eris is like, that's just how I be. And Isolde is like, Nina, how do you do it? And Nina's like, well, I just got to go fast. So I don't even think about it. It's funny that she has blue hair and she says, I got to go fast. And that's what Sonic says. And Sonic is blue. Coincidence?
I think not.
But Nina is like, well, why can't I beat Eris? And Eris says she makes her move first. And she said she learned it from Rougerd, that if she looks in different places, people move before she does. Isolde is like, oh, do you try to do that with me? And she's like, yeah, but you don't fucking move. And Isolde is like, well, don't do that. And Eris is like, okay, bet. Nina is like, how do I get better? And Isolde is like, have you asked your dad? And she's like, shit, I can't get a straight answer out of that.
That's
guy.
such a weird sentence. You asked your fucking dad how you get better, you bitch.
He is a sword god, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just really funny though. Like the way you phrased it. Like, doesn't she say, "Have you asked your father, your mentor?" And she's like, "No, I haven't really talked to him about it."
Well,
how
she
do I
didn't
get
say,
better?
have
you asked your dad?
She said, like oh, have you asked your teacher?
Is it up your butt?
Oh, damn. Okay. Hey, is your refrigerator running? You better go catch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's that.
Okay. Eris is like, hey, why do you have a coat like Ghislaine? And she says, you get one when you're a sword saint, but I don't wear mine since it's not my style. And Eris is like, I want. And Nina is like, just go hunt that shit. And the students hunt the monsters and wear the pelt. And that proves that you're a sword saint. Eris is like, show me where that shit is. And Isolde is like, me too. And Nina is like, fuck. But they go to the frozen waterfall and Eris is like, I want to fuck shit up. But Nina says they need to build a fire to lure them and to be patient. But Nina can't get it started. So Eris just casts fireball and Nina's like, oh shit, you know magic? And Eris is like, yup, Rudy taught me. Rudy taught me and Ghislaine, and she can even speak demon god too. But the monsters show up and the girls start cutting up monsters and have a nice girls' night out and head back and they go their separate ways. But Nina is like, hey, Eris.
Exactly what happens. These girls went to the club for a little bit. They just had a good time.
Yeah, all these like wolves. These are just dudes trying to buy them drinks. And they're just,
exactly. And they all got fucking murdered.
But Nina is like, hey, Eris, if you don't want to be such a bitch, then take a bath, eat some food, and sleep in a fucking bed. And think about Rudis. Eris is like, why the fuck would I do that? And Nina says, you seem a lot less murderous when you do. And Rudy might dump you if you're dirty as fuck all the time. The next day they spar and Eris gets a hit on Isolde after thinking about Rudy. And Ghislaine, Auber, Gal, and Rada are just creeping outside. And Eris is all happy. And the girls are going to talk again. And then Eris puts on her shirt from it-aesthetics.com, where she saved 10%
Frank, I saw
by
it.
using...
I fucking I inceptioned that thought into your brain. I did it.
I had to get it in. This is the last note of the...
No, I know, but it was so good. I was like, we haven't done the segue yet. And she puts on the shirt. It's just perfect. It's perfect.
He's gonna do it. I can see his animosity. But Eris saved 10% by using promo code TABC10 at checkout, or $5 off of any other deals that they have going on. And Eris got a shirt like the one that Ghislaine wears, or the one that DJ Montague is wearing, or the one that I am wearing right now. Oh yeah, that's the Momo Okarun shirt. And then this one is the Inverted Spear of Heaven.
I love that one. I think it's really cool.
And you too can
I'm a
go
big
to
fan.
it-aesthetics.com and get a shirt like us, or Eris, or Ghislaine. And you can call yourself a sword saint. But be sure to use promo code TABSY10 or TABSY5 at checkout for 10% or $5 off of your order. But no, Eris doesn't put on a t-shirt from it-aesthetics.com. She puts on her new Ghislaine jacket, signifying herself as a sword saint. And that is how episode 2 ends.
I'm enjoying all of what these first few episodes of Mushoku Tensei have been. And again, I bring it up. I know it's going to get gooner. I know it's going to get shitty. And it's going to really fucking piss me off.
Yes.
Because, like, everyone around Rudy is a great character.
Yeah, you're going to get mad. 100%.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 seconds of the next episode, you're going to get mad.
Okay, so I also have to bring this up. And this is why I have a problem with, this is, again, the writer's fault. It's not the fault of the reader. It's not the fault of the characters. It's the fault of the writer. You are writing the characters. This is your problem that you've created artificially because you're a shitbag. I'm going to switch over and show you guys what I'm reading so that you can see, and these are all quotes. Here we have the explanation. This is on Reddit. You should read the light novel instead. It adds a lot more context and nuance to Rudius's character growth. The context and nuance. I did want to see how sexy her body had gotten now that she was 13. You didn't need to write that. I also healed their bruises. It was my time to enjoy, treat their wounds. After all, you had to touch someone to heal them, so there was no other meaning behind it. Yes, one of the girls did have bruises on her chest. Again, you didn't need to write that. That's only because I had no friends besides Sylphie, whom I was trying to raise into my perfect obedient woman. What the fuck, dog? Like, these are, again, like, light novel enthusiasts. Like, you don't need to defend this. This is garbage behavior. I understand that there's a lot of, like, cool world building. This doesn't make everything else in the show okay. You know what I mean?
I think the writing is doing its job.
That's the problem. It's doing its job of making people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, this main character is an awful person, and defending, like, the writing by saying, oh, that's just Rudy as a character. No, that's this writer. This isn't like some fucking vision quest this guy was on, and he's like, dude, I saw this vision of this fucking world. No, dog, you wrote this shit, and you wrote it down. And so all we can assume is that you're the shitbag behind it. The whole time, I was out there stealing Eris's panties. Like, fuck out of here. Sounded pretty good to me. We'd grow up together, and she'd grow up into my perfect woman. This isn't a dream, isn't it? Could you pinch me? You won't punch me if I do. I won't punch you. Since I had her word and I reached out and pinched her nipple between my fingers. Gently, of course. Or maybe sexily is more the word in this case. Get the fuck out of here,
I mean,
dude.
you're not wrong. When you say that the writer wrote this and it's weird as shit, you're not wrong. There's lots of instances in history when this happens. If this is true, I didn't do too much research into this when I heard it, but the original It with Stephen King, he wrote some pretty weird ass shit about the kid group.
The kids have an orgy.
Yeah. And it's weird when you hear it, and it seems out of place, and it is out of place.
No. Even Stephen King said, he was like, dude, I was so coked out when I wrote it. Like, you guys...
I know, but that doesn't make it better.
Shit. No. He's written some terrible, heinous shit. And now that we're sitting here, like, obviously I don't have the defense of this dude, but this is heinous shit. And if you, like, not saying you, Greg, but I'm saying you, the viewer, defends this heinous shit as like, oh, yeah, it's really good in the light novel, and you see why he's such a piece of shit.
In terms of, like, writing in the realm of creativity, you obviously don't agree with this writing. I don't agree with the writing. I think it's weird as well, 100%. But just because we don't like it, I guess, doesn't mean that it can't exist. Not that it should exist.
I agree that freedom of speech is important, but I'm going to equate this to another show. And this is also a show in the mainstream. You've seen the show The Good Doctor, right? I don't know if you've watched any episodes, but you know of it.
No.
Okay. Well, it's a show about an autistic doctor who has like OCD and
Oh, is it that
he's
young
very high
guy?
on the spectrum.
Yeah, I think I've seen Instagrams of it or whatever.
In one of the episodes, you have a character. Now, in the political zeitgeist, like what's going on, obviously we have a lot of like ideology demonizing trans anything. And it's very important to bring attention to humans' rights. Everything is, all humans are deserving of like love and care, like a line in the sand. That like some people get happiness where zero sum, whatever. In the episode, this person writes a trans character. They want to get a bottom surgery to be a eunuch because the character in this show, they have pedophilic thoughts. And then the good doctor does not go through with the surgery, says that they won't turn this person into a eunuch. Then later, the person kills themselves from this episode. You're like, oh, wow, if this person had gotten their bottom surgery, they wouldn't be a pedophile anymore because they wouldn't have those parts. This is such a convoluted way to then try to get the viewer on the side of somebody that has pedophilic thoughts. It's like a straw man argument. Like, this didn't really happen, but it demonizes the trans community and their want for normal human rights. And furthermore, it says that they're pedophiles beyond that, where this person that wrote it is the shitbag. They defended a pedophile that had nothing to do with trans rights or any of the such. They just needed a way to make it so that somebody would feel sympathy for those people. And that's what's fucking pissing me off about Mushoku. Is like, you and I both agree, but this is the issue at the core of it. This is a story. There is somebody writing and directly.
I think with like art and stories and just that artistic medium, I feel there needs to almost be like a separation unless it is truly, because I feel like you can have a story about that and you can write something about that. And even though like you obviously don't like that episode of The Good Doctor.
No,
but
it's terrible.
At the same time, like that is something that exists in our world. Those everything that those characters.
That's the thing.
That's fine if they're tropes, because even if it is a trope, then that is something that exists in the world.
No. It's tropes for pushing a political agenda. There is there's one side of the fence that is like, oh, demonizing trans people, there shouldn't be trans people in sports, and there's the idea of you shouldn't be able to like voluntarily mutilate yourself in the eyes of God, and this thing. Like, I could write anything I want, but if I don't take a peek behind the curtain, I could just blame ignorance and feign obfuscation, like, oh, I didn't mean for you to take it that way. It's like, no, you wrote this and you have to answer for this. This is the problem. Is like, if I say I'm a socialist and I believe in socialist tendencies, like I believe in free healthcare and free, like schools, and I believe that everybody should go to school. And then someone's like, even for criminals? I didn't exclude criminals. I didn't say that at all. I believe it for everybody. But if I'm like, oh, well, I don't know, it's on the context, it's like, there's a large discussion about what I say, what I do, and what I put into the world.
So when you say take responsibility, what are you saying they're responsible for? Are they responsible for the backlash, or are they responsible for, I guess, what would you want to happen?
Like the mangaka or like the creator of Mushoku?
Or let's just go with the Good Doctor example.
I would wish that going forward, these writers, a prime example of this is, I think, is Luke Besson, who wrote The Professional, Leon the Professional. There was
keep going.
Leon the Professional was a book originally where an assassin basically has like a small change of heart because of a 13-year-old. And then the movie was created because the storyline, the world around it was so good, they wrote it into a movie and took out all of the like really awkward 13-year-old sleeping with fucking like a 35-year-old man. If you're going to write this stuff, it's the same thing with Kanye. It's the same thing with, like, you might have good intentions by writing these storylines. You might have a really cool idea, but when it gets to the political zeitgeist and the larger application and absorption into world and community, you're going to have your feet to the fire. Another prime example is with Harry Potter. What's her name? There are larger things that happen. And people will find out if you're kind of a shitbag. And whether or not you write a great story, I'm not saying that Mushoku Tensei is a great story. I do think that the world building is insane. I think that the surrounding themes of this show that have nothing to do with the pedophilia and the gooner behavior of Rudy are so good and so well done. That does not excuse the other stuff.
Yeah, but I guess, with J.K. Rowling, yeah, I mean, like, she's, I guess, more or less taking responsibility for the things that she says, right? Obviously,
She's not.
she is into the extent that responsibility in terms of like socially.
She's saying,
and
like,
then,
yeah, I said that shit, and then
Yeah.
on top of that, I still believe in what I said. That's
Yeah.
not that.
I mean, but that's what I mean. You can't like
Taking stock of what you say and reinforcing what you say is not taking responsibility. That's sticking your feet into the sand or sticking your feet into the mud or whatever.
Yeah, but
you want to
I
say.
think your definition of responsibility is her changing the way that she thinks. I guess in my mind, her taking responsibility is the backlash of the public and then not supporting her and or her works anymore, because that's all that really the public can do. And then, in my mind, if there's something you don't like, for people that are producing this sort of stuff, like the best way to show your displeasure with what the media is to like not buy it, because obviously if no one's buying
right,
it,
vote
no
with
one's
your
watching
wallet
it.
is always a thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how she, in my mind, she's taking responsibility for what she said, is because it's obviously affecting her career and it's affecting her financially. And if there was another book that she wrote, I don't think it would be as big as Harry Potter. She probably wouldn't make as much money.
Close.
And then when she realizes it's like, okay, I made like $5 from this book that it took me 10 years to write, obviously she's not going to write anymore. Now, I don't think that you or I or anyone else is really going to change how she is thinking as an individual. And I'm not going to support what she thinks. But the fact that she thinks it, there's like really nothing we can do about that besides not support her as a person. And I don't think that unless like it's truly she's writing a fictional story, but like all this stuff actually happened in real life, and then she actually like is on some pilgrimage to end gays or something, then it's like, okay, then, obviously we would have to like police or whatever, the law enforcers would then investigate that. And then if this is some true, like she wrote this book to be like some memoir of her doing anti-gay stuff or whatever, and it's found that she did illegal things, then yeah, like that's fine that she gets like arrested, she gets whatever put on trial, and all this stuff happens. I agree that these authors like write stuff that is weird and societally like not accepted. But then also it's like people do think that stuff, and people either they can think that stuff for themselves, or they're truly putting themselves in the shoes of the character that they're creating, and they themselves don't believe it, but then they want the characters to believe it, almost like method acting in that respect, where the character is doing this, not them as a person, for them to like create this story. I feel like there's a little bit of a weird gray area when it comes to like the arts and the freedom and the imagination and creativity. And while we don't have to support it or believe in it or agree with them at all, because we have our own individual powers to be like, this is fucked up or this isn't good, and then not support them, and then at that point we would see less of whatever that is. But yeah, I mean, I understand the frustration behind it, but then also, like, if they want to write a story like this and put it out into the world, like, it's going to get written and it's going to get put out in the world, whether we like it or not. And
I agree.
I also don't know if it's fair for us to basically ban writing stuff like that.
Well, this is the other thing I say, is that it's not good writing.
Sure, it can be bad writing, right? It's terrible writing. Let's say it's awful writing. This is like 0 out of 10 writing, but it's still theirs, and they still write it and they still publish it. So I guess I'm just trying to understand like what you are viewing as consequences, because you're saying that they should be taking responsibility for all this stuff.
My issue is like the standard idea of consequences is like cancel culture and the destruction of platforms. I think that we, as people, as humans, we platform people that aren't super great all the time. And I think that as a responsibility of the people that get platformed, they should be looking out for their fellow human beings just on a moral compass. Now, not everybody does that, and I understand that. And that's not everybody's job, is to look out for your fellow human. But I would like to see more people look out for their fellow human and say, you know what, I wrote some really weird shit, and that is what made me famous, but I also recognize and will, like, donate. And if I were to go back and write that, I wouldn't write that weird shit like a Stephen King would. Like he has talked about in interviews, he's like, yeah, that shit was crazy. I shouldn't have wrote that at all.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us for this episode of the Anime Book Club podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Look up the Anime Book Club podcast. And you could also find us on the internet at theanimebookclub.com with links to all those things. If you don't want to type it in yourself, you can just click the little button to take you to your destination. And be sure to visit gamersups.gg and use promo code DJ Montague at checkout for 10% off of your order, and visit it-aesthetics.com and use tab C10 or tab C5 for 10% off of your order or $5 off, stacking with any deals that they have going on at the time. And I don't think we have anything else for you guys except the moral of the story featuring DJ Montague.
I think I just went on a moral high horse of a story. I'll piggyback off that. Take accountability for your actions. If you write something shitty and someone lets you know that it's fucking shitty and insensitive, take accountability. Apologize and understand that what your intentions are and what is actually said and what gets written down sometimes are two very different things. And while maybe you didn't mean to offend somebody and you did, you could say sorry. And also there are certain situations where people are being absolutely asinine and gaslighting you. But it's up to us as the human experience to differentiate the two. But if you maintain some semblance of humble understanding and humanity, I think you will continue to succeed in the world.
Now the only thing left is for DJ
Is to tell him goodbye, Greg?
Yeah, it's for
no,
DJ
you tell him
Montague
goodbye.
to say goodbye.
No, you tell him goodbye.
No,
you.
But you also have to say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. Now you say goodbye.
Oh, all right. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!